Good morning. Welcome to grade 11 philosophy online class. I'm your teacher, Mrs. Lovely J. Tupa. You can call me Mom Love. Okay, class. So, welcome to our session for this morning. We are now on our lesson 3 for module 6 in our second quarter, which has a titled Interaction with a Disadvantage. Okay, the most important learning competency that you're going to learn in this lesson, you're going to appreciate the talents of persons with disabilities and those from the underprivileged sectors of society and their contributions to society, and explain that authentic dialogue means accepting others even if they are different from themselves. Okay, let us review. How do you define intersubjectivity? What enables human person to establish meaningful interaction with others? And how does establishing dialogue with others benefit a person? Okay, can you still remember our lesson last week? How do you define intersubjectivity? Okay, when we say intersubjectivity, it refers to the shared awareness and understanding among persons. It is made possible by the awareness of the self and the other. And for question number 2, what enables human person to establish meaningful interaction with others? Dialogue enables the person to establish meaningful interaction with others. And of course, through the relationship between the self and other person. And how does establishing dialogue with others benefit a person? Through dialogues, it made two persons open up to each other and give and receive one another in their encounter. So in this way, they establish a meaningful relationship. Okay? For activity 1 for lesson 3, entitled I Want to Be Your Friend, you're going to write inside the boxes the name of 4 people whom you consider as belonging to the underprivileged sector in your community. Then indicate the level of your relationship with him or her using the following symbols. So if the name of the person that you're going to write is your intimate friend, then you're going to draw heart. If he is or she is your casual friend, you're going to draw sun. And if he or she is an acquaintance, you're going to draw moon. And if he or she is just a stranger, you're going to draw clouds. Okay? So this is the illustration that you're going to fill up. You're going to fill up the names and the shape that whom that person is or have a relationship to you. Then after that, you're going to answer the following question in your paper or in a long kopunban. Then you're going to answer question number 1. How many of them are your intimate friend, casual friend, or acquaintance? Number 2. Does their condition draw you to them or hinder you from befriending them? From befriending them? Explain. And number 3, how should we as human person relate to the underprivileged? Okay. Now, let us discuss. When was the last time you watched Maalaala Mo Kaya or MMK? Perhaps you were able to watch the episode entitled Bangka that talks about the struggle of a young girl who was so motivated to reach her dreams of finishing her studies despite her family's experience of extreme poverty. As a student, she would regularly brace the danger of swimming in an open sea just to arrive at school. Wow, I can still remember even today how my heart somehow felt the girl's own emotion as she constantly struggled because of her dream, even if that story is never my own and that I do not know her personally. So this is the picture, a girl and some boys that usually uh, use bangka to travel just to go to school. I know maybe some of you can relate to this story, but I know some of you are lucky that didn't have to experience this kind of danger just to go to school. Have you also experienced something similar to this? What was it like? Persons, you have the capacity to experience the experience of another, just like the one I described to you about that MMK incident. Philosophers call this human capacity to share the emotion as empathy, which is also an important aspect of intersubjectivity. Perhaps you have already heard that empathy can be understood as feeling in or placing yourself into the shoes of another. So, meaning you are not the person, but through his experience, you feel the same way. So, that is empathy. You feel what she feels. For example, how would you behave around a friend who just informed you that his or her parent has died? Of course, if you are a friend or a closest friend of her, you will feel sad, lonely, or even cry. So, empathy enables you not only to share your friend's grief and offer him or her comfort during a difficult experience, but also to feel the grief of that person, even if it wasn't your own relative's death. So, in this situation, if you cried with your friend, then you feel empathy. But if you just comfort her, that is sympathy. So sympathy and empathy is different. Sympathy is you are just comforting, you are just making her feel comfortable. But when it comes to empathy, you feel what she feels. You cry with her. Persons can also share more positive emotions such as joy and fright. By allowing us to share in another person's emotion, empathy also enables us to place ourselves in their shoes. So not only negative emotion that you have to share, but some fun, like when you watch basketball and when your team got champion, you also feel the joy, the excitement. Also, that is empathy. And also when your sister, when your brother get an award, so you feel also happy for him. So that is an empathy. One characteristic of meaningful and genuine human relationship is availability. So availability is the willingness of a person to be present and be at the disposal of another. So in this drawing, you have to see a Grab driver who helped an old woman to cross the street. So in this situation, there is availability shows. Filipinos are actually very good at this. For example, if you go to an unfamiliar place and do not know which way to go, normally there are kababayans who will approach you and extend their help to you voluntarily. The concept of availability means that you are willing to be at one side 24/7. So you are always available and willing to help other person. Actually, Filipinos are really known for that characteristics. As I have always browsed YouTube, I've always seen many channel that tackles the characteristics or positive characteristics of Filipinos. That we are a hospitable person. We always share, and we always help others, even we are not that so rich. We have that genuine heart to help others, even that others will not give anything for us. We just help them with all our hearts. How do we accept others' differences through intersubjectivity? So empathy and availability are two aspects of intersubjectivity. So when we see empathy, ability to share your emotion, to share their emotion, emotion is driven by a person's awareness that the other person is a person with thoughts and feelings. Enable us to experience another person's emotions such as happiness, anger, and sadness. When we see sympathy is feeling with, while empathy is feeling in. So that is the difference between empathy and sympathy. Empathy, you share the emotion. Sympathy is you just comfort or care with that person. About availability, it is the willingness of a person to be present for another and render assistance to another. For instance, you went to an unfamiliar place and you cannot locate the place where you're supposed to go. What will you do? How will you feel if you were asking for direction, but the people you were asking kept ignoring you? What will you think about these people? Let's say a stranger approaches you in the street asking for help. What will be your first reaction? Will you try and help that person or will you ignore him or her? So it depends upon your answer that you will have the willingness to help for that person, which is availability. So the next is the ethics of care. It is an ethical theory that emphasizes the moral dimension of relationship and interaction. The moral perspective encourages individuals to help other people, most especially the vulnerable. Opponents of the ethics of care believe that people have a moral obligation to respond to the needs of other people and cannot turn a blind eye on the problems of others. Those who are able to help or give assistance should consider the specific needs of the people they are helping, like in this picture. So in this picture, there is availability, and also an ethics of care. Person help the other person. While in the other drawing, the person give comforts to another person. This. Which characters is being showed in this picture? There is a stranger and she asks for a direction. So this shows availability and also ethics of care. So how about you? If you are the guy, are you going to help the girl? So it depends upon your answer. Pictures. What can you do to lend assistance to these people? Can you give anything for them? In this drawing about the little ones with Miss Catriona Gray, yes, you can lend them your dress, some financial support. And how about this girl? Yes, you can be available for her to help her in her wheelchair. And how about in this drawing? Yes, you can give them uh, clean water so they can drink clean water. And in our lives, we can always give help to other people without asking for any return. And that characteristics showed availability and ethics of care. Not all human interaction, however, are positive. There are those who view other people negatively and consider human actions as being influenced by selfish interest. This pessimistic view considers human relationships frustrating and often inauthentic or deceptive. A person that adopts this negative view is said to be experiencing alienation. Ayan, alienation from the word alien, not a person. This arises when a person ceases or stops to view the other as a distinct and authentic person and merely consider the other person as a mere object or a means to satisfy personal interests. So when you see other person or you just use other person, that is alienation. You are not a person, but you are just using other person as an object to make you happy and to make you satisfied. In short, manggagamit. So that is a negative characteristic of a person. Might have encountered people who behave in a rude and offensive manner against others whom they consider different from them. Often hear the term mata pobre used to describe well-off people who look down on other people that they consider poor. In restaurant, you might hear the customer berating or yelling the serving staff and even insulting them for committing a mistake. And that is not good. How did you feel when you encountered this situation? Of course, everybody commit mistake and you don't have the right to yell at that person. You should treat them with respect. Human nature drives us to feel indignation, anger caused by something that is unfair or wrong against this kind of behavior because we know that these actions are an insult to human dignity. Feelings or views of alienation, if left unaddressed, give rise to negative view and actions directed against to a person or group of persons. Alienation goes against the concept of personhood because the view discounts the humanity and dignity of a person and lead to dehumanization. Ayan. So if a person have positive characteristic, then there is also a negative characteristic. If a person is always available, has the ethics of care, and has an empathy toward each other, sometimes person also become or has the characteristics of alienation, which see other person as a subject to satisfy them. I hope you don't have this kind of attitude or characteristics. Imagine that your schoolmates cease to call each other by their names and instead choose to highlight their physical flaws. Oh my God. Those with dark skin will be called negro or negra, baluga, like that. Those with speech impediment will be called ngongo. Those who lack height will be called pandak. And those who are not attractive will be called pangit. My God. So what do you feel? Tabachoy, baboy. Oh, that's bad, di ba? Let's imagine that those who do not possess this physical flaw will be considered superior or perfect and act as if those with flaw do not deserve to belong in school and should therefore be treated unfairly. What do you think will happen to the school? Of course, the school don't have a harmonized relationship with each other, and there will be chaos. But there will still be harmony in school. Imagine if you were one of those people being ridiculed. How would you feel if you were treated in this manner? What do you think will happen if this behavior becomes prevalent in our society? Do you still feel good? Of course not. You will feel lonely and all alone. So I hope that this kind of attitude is not present in our school. Okay? That as it may, in spite of our negative experiences of human interaction, we're still called to extend our hand in building a community of harmony. Always remember that. This is very important, especially that our world today seems to be surrounded with all forms of conflicts and violence. We can only do this if we recognize that the other person is the same as ourselves, a person with dignity that needs to be upheld and respected. Whether what kind of religion you have a Muslim, a Jew, a Christian, an atheist, all walk into a coffee shop. They talk, laugh, drink coffee, and become good friends. It's not a joke. It's what happens when people live in harmony. So whatever color we have fair, white, dark, brown. If we live in harmony, then we are going to have a peace and united environment. For activity two for this lesson, entitled Movie Clip Reaction. You're going to write your answer in a separate sheet of paper or in a long coupon band. You're going to think of 3 scenes from a movie, short film, or a TV show where empathy, availability, and alienation are well demonstrated. Describe the scene on that movie. List your evaluation in the table. Okay, you're going just to write and describe those scene, whether that shows empathy. When you say empathy, you feel what you feel. Availability, always available to help others. Alienation, this is you use other person just to satisfy your happiness. Okay? Table. In this column, you're going to write the movie or TV show. Example, MMK. So, description, availability or empathy. MMK bangka. Description, empathy. The teacher cried when the student cried. Effects on human relationship. It offers a meaningful relationship. So, that's the example. Then, you're going to write your own 3 examples. Okay? Rubrics. Criteria, the evaluation is clear, meaningful, and comprehensive. 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. Next, the evaluation is logically constructed. Conclusion follows its premises. 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. The evaluation shows depth in its analysis and reflection. 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. Okay? So that is your guide in writing your movie clip reaction. Now for the last lesson for Module 6, embracing differences or diversity. What is the most essential learning competency? You're going to explain that authentic dialogue means accepting others even if they are different from themselves and appreciate the talents of persons with disabilities and those from the underprivileged sectors of society and their contributions to society. Now let us discuss. Not all stories, movies, or telenovelas end happily. Many of them unfortunately end with a sad note. Yet, what seems to be common among these narratives is the realization of the main protagonist or bida sa kwento on the necessity to accept the things that had already gone by and to embrace all past experiences, may they be good or bad. And when he succeeded to do that, he or she become at peace with himself or herself. Okay? In similar manner, the acts of accepting, pagtanggap, and embracing, pagyakap, all our differences are also beneficial, especially in building a community of harmony. Without a doubt, harmony is hindered because some people have intentionally refused to accept and embrace our diversity or pagkakaiba. Of course, we should always accept others, even they are different from us, so we can experience harmony and peace in this world. Individuals, for instance, overemphasize our differences and chose to favor one look, behavior, view, belief, and idea over the other. In the process, some of those who do not carry the characteristics that are preferred to by the majority in society are the ones who usually receive rejection, pagtatakwil, discrimination, pagtrato ng hindi pantay, abuse, pag-abuso, neglect, pagpabaya, contempt, pag-alipusta, and the like. Sure that you already aware that there are people in our society who have endured a lot of hardships and discrimination because of their physical or mental condition. As a group, we call them differently abled person or may pagkakalangan sa pagkatao. Diba sometimes you always used to tease some person or call them through their differences. Like example, ngungu, you always tease them like that. So it's bad. Now look at this person. Are you familiar with them? His neck, bush, his shape, who don't have arms, 2 arms, and legs. How about this person? Helen Keller, who is blind. This person who don't have arms but use his feet just to make what kind of sport he really like. If you see this person, what are you going to do? What are your reactions? A group of people who are the same condition with that of the differently abled person are the underprivileged or walang kakayahan sa buhay. They are called like that because they are poor materially. They are constantly struggling to find means for living. Like this. Have you already seen this person or have you encountered this kind of person? What are you going to do? Are you going to laugh at them or are you going to extend your help with them? So it depends upon you. And I hope to learning at this lesson, you're going to act the right way. Apart from people with disabilities and underprivileged, there are also others who are excluded from groups of society because they have been deemed different. Who among your neighbors is considered by many to be weird or different? Have you seen this person? They are weird. But of course, even if they are weird, you're going to respect them because that's what they want. Not all people have perfect or what we call beautiful face, body, and whatever characteristic they have. We should always respect each other. Even others have different characteristics from us. To reflect on the people closest to you and evaluate if you have been engaging in genuine dialogue with them. Can you say that your friends have helped you become a better person? Think of the other people in your life. Who do you feel can benefit from having a friend? Reflecting on our interaction with others can better inform us of the motivations of why we need to reach out for others. The knowledge of our capacity for intersubjectivity will enable us to make better choices as we continue to relate with others and uphold positive relationship in our lives. So, intersubjectivity will help each one of us to have a meaningful relationship with others. For activity 2 in this lesson, you're going to do this in a long coupon band. You're going to look for at least 3 differently abled and 3 underprivileged. When you say differently abled, those person who are who has kapansanan, while other 3 underprivileged, meaning those who are poor or who have some financial instability in their life. Then, you make a profile of these chosen individuals. After that, you describe each of their background and significant achievements and deeds. You're going to use the format in the next slide as your guide, but you can always modify it depending on your own skills, creativity, and available resources. Okay? This is the format. You're going to paste a photo, her nickname. You're going to write the name, address, age, civil status, special skill, talent, occupation, and available contribution to society. What concrete action will you do in order to support him or her? You can write this format in a long coupon band. You can write this at least two format in a long coupon band. So you can write at least, you can use three long coupon band, two person in each coupon band, three person for who are disabled person, and three for underprivileged. Okay? For breaks, you're going to use the content and ideas organized, clear and logical manner. 5 as the highest, 1 is the lowest. You're going to provide an adequate, if not complete, background information. 5 for complete, 1 for not complete as the lowest. The profile employs standard grammar convention, proper punctuation, and proper word choice. 5 as the highest, 1 as the lowest. The work is original. 5 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. What have you learned? To summarize or to sum up the module 6, let us read. Let us read. Interpersonal relations refer to interactions that are made possible between the self and the other. Intersubjectivity refers to the shared awareness and understanding among persons. It is made possible by the awareness of the self and the other. The relationship between the self and other enables the person to relate to others and establish and maintain meaningful relationships. And seeming action refers to the way a person presents himself or herself when dealing with others. This is considered a natural and often unconscious act. A deep and genuine relationship between persons is called a dialogue. A dialogue occurs when two persons open up to each other and give and receive one another in their encounter. Empathy enables a person to place himself or herself in the shoes of others and leads to a greater understanding and appreciation of others. Availability refers to the willingness of a person to be present for another and to render assistance to another. The theory of the ethics of care believes that people have a moral obligation to respond to the needs of others and encourages individuals to extend help to people in need. It refers to a state when a person stops to view the other as a distinct and authentic person. Rather, the person considers other as mere things or means to satisfy personal interests or desire. Meaningful and beneficial human relationships are founded on the values of acceptance, openness, and respect. As humans, we are driven by our shared dignity to treat each other with respect and acceptance. Our capacity for intersubjectivity and the opportunities it provides for fostering personal growth and welfare will enable us to make better decisions as we continue to uphold positive relationships in our lives. So for what I can do, you're going to write your answer in a long coupon bond or in a separate sheet of paper. You're going to describe in detail a deep, genuine, and meaningful interaction that you have experienced so far with another person and reflect on how this particular encounter has affected you as a person. So this is a reflection activity. You're going to just write down your experiences during your deep, genuine, and meaningful interaction or relationship with another person. Okay? Content and idea are organized in a clear, logical manner. 5 the highest, 1 is the lowest. The paper employs standard grammar convention, proper punctuation, and proper word choice. 5 highest, 1 is the lowest. The paper is original and does not contain plagiarized content. 5 highest and 1 is the lowest. So this is the criteria. I hope you will be guided with this criteria. Okay? For assessment number 2, You're going to answer question correctly in its corresponding item. You're going to write your answer in a separate sheet of paper or in a long coupon band. I will going to read the question. Then you're going to write only the letter of the correct answer. Okay? Ready? Number 1, it refers to the unique relationship between distinct subjects. A. Human interaction. B. Intersubjectivity. C. Self-awareness. D. Transcendence. Okay. Number 2. Which of the following allows the person to give himself or herself to others and receive others in his or her life and relate with them? A. Individuality. B. Interiority. C. Shared emotions. D. Social context. Next, number 3, which is considered as a deeper level of self-other interaction. A. Knowledge of the existence of the other. B. Awareness of the self as being seen by others. C. Attentiveness to the surrounding environment. D. Understanding the unique behavior of the others. Please answer. Okay, number 4. What is the defining characteristic which sets apart human interaction from the interaction of other animals as illustrated in Lesson 1? A. Human freedom. B. Human gaze. C. Human touch. D. Human words. Number 5. What is the term used to describe a situation where an individual presents himself or herself in a certain way when dealing with others? A. Mirroring. B. Performing. C. Pretending. D. Seeming. Okay, number 6. A deeper and more genuine interaction is called blank. A. Awareness. B. Conversation. C. Dialogue. D. Interiority. Okay, please answer. Number 7. How does authentic or genuine relationship occur between two individuals? A. When the self realizes that other is a unique individual. B. When two individuals begin to view each other as an other. C. When they acknowledge each other as distinct individuals. And letter D, all of the above. Next, number 8. Which of the following statements about dialogue is correct? A. Dialogue is confined to words. B. Dialogue is exactly similar to conversation. C. Only beings with inner life can engage in a dialogue. Letter D. It is possible to have a dialogue with material objects. Okay, please answer. Number 9. Which situation below clearly illustrates a dialogue? A. Asking a bystander for direction. B. Talking about politics with a stranger. C. Seeking for forgiveness from a parent. D. Inquiring on goods from a storekeeper. And number 10. Which of these statements indicate that the speaker is ready to engage in a genuine dialogue? A. I tend to ignore strangers. B. I wish you were gone. Letter C. I always treat people with respect. Letter D. I think my idea is always better. Finish? Next number. It refers to an important aspect of intersubjectivity that enable us to experience another person's emotions. A. Alienation. B. Availability. C. Dialogue. D. Empathy. Number 12. Which of the following circumstances depicts empathy? A. Laughing at the mistakes or shortcomings of others. B. Feeling a friend's grief over the death of a loved one. C. Calling intellectually challenged classmates as lazy students. D. All of the above. Number 13. It refers to the willingness of a person to be present and be at the disposal of another. A. Alienation. B. Availability. C. Dialogue. D. Empathy. Okay, please answer. What is the ethics of care? A. It encourages individuals to help others, especially the vulnerable. B. It emphasizes the moral dimension of relationships and interactions. C. It emphasizes our moral obligation to respond to the needs of others. And D. All of the above. Okay, number 15. What is alienation in the context of human interaction? A. Viewing people positively. B. Considering the other people as mere objects. C. Regarding others as distinct and authentic persons. D. Believing that human actions are governed by selflessness. Okay. Letter B, true or false, you're going to write true if the statement is correct and false if it is wrong. 16. We have to accept that people have different view and belief from us. 17. Differently abled persons share with the same dignity with all people. 18. The act of giving must be done in the spirit of mutual respect. 19. We help those in need to feel a lot better ourselves. And number 20, reflecting on our own interaction with others foster positive relationships. Okay. Activity entitled My Idol. You're going to do this in a long Koponban. You're going to research on a person with disability who has lived a productive and meaningful life despite his or her disability. You're going to discuss her or her background, significant achievements, as well as the trait that enable him or her to succeed in life. So this activity, you can search this in an internet with disabled person. You can write or you can have them their pictures or their profile. Okay? Let me share you this quotation. Acknowledge the differences in other people as an expression of the beautiful and rich diversity that we have been blessed with on this incredible planet. Okay, always remember that whatever differences you have, you should accept each other's. And for this module, you're going to pass your output in what I know for lesson 1. Then you're going to pass also the activity 1, what's new for lesson 1 and what's more. Activity 2. And lesson 2, what's new, activity 1, and activity 2, what's more. Lesson 3, activity 1, what's new, and what's more, activity 2. Lesson 4, what's new for activity 1 and what's more. In all lesson, you're going to pass the output in activity 1, what's new, and activity 2, which each what's more. And also, you're going to pass what I can do, assessment, and additional activity. So, those are the output that you're going to pass in this module. Okay, so for disclaimer, all the materials used in this video were taken from the SLM produced by DepEd. Furthermore, almost all of the images used were downloaded from the different sites in Google. Thank you so much and see you in our next lesson.